Gettysburg. A town you've surely heard of, whether you're from Pennsylvania or across the country. Nestled within the hills of Appalachia, Gettysburg is a quiet, quaint town that hasn't changed too much from its Civil War days. Infamously known for the pivotal role the town played during the Civil War, when both sides, the Confederates and the Union, fought over 3 days in one of the bloodiest battles in American history. After countless lives were lost, the Union held on and prevailed. Fast forward to today, when visiting Gettysburg, it's a lot like stepping back in time. Both the town and the battlefield have been preserved just how they were in 1863. You can still see the scars, wounds, and bullet holes those 3 fateful days left all around town. History buff or not, this town truly has something for everyone out there, whether you just have a few hours to explore or a week. You can truly get lost in the amount of things to do here. Check out the main square and the hundreds of unique shops the town holds. Everything from cigars to the paranormal to ice cream. There's a shop for just about everyone. You'll also find some of the finest and most unique dining in Pennsylvania and possibly the country. Go get lunch or dinner in one of the many Civil War era restaurants or taverns dotted around the town. And after dinner, head out on the town and grab a spirit or two, the non-ghost kind, at one of the many bars or breweries around the town, including several taverns that are around back in the Civil War days. And if you're feeling brave, be sure to check out one of the many ghost tours around town. We highly recommend any of the tours the Farnsworth Inn hosts. And for all you history buffs out there, the town and battlefield alike will keep you busy. Explore the newly updated Devil's Den, head down to Spangler's Spring, or take a walk across one of the most historically important bridges in Pennsylvania, the Sachs Covered Bridge. You could seriously spend weeks exploring every nook and cranny of this massive 6,000-acre battlefield. So yeah, Sam and I have been coming to Gettysburg for years. We've traveled the country coast to coast, and we still agree Gettysburg is still one of the best towns to stay a night and explore. We thought it would be fun as well as helpful to make a top 10 list for folks out there that haven't gotten to experience this town. Of course, like every top whatever list, this is all of our opinion, but we love to hear yours. Leave us a comment and tell us your favorite spots around town. And if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button. So, before we get to the top 10 list, we have a few honorable mentions, so here they are.
Hi everyone, it's Sam. First, for our honorable mentions, whether you're a believer or not, I have to recommend doing a ghost tour while in town. Whether you've never done one before or want to do an overnight investigation, there is a tour for everyone. Prices vary from business to business, but you'll have plenty of options to choose from, like candlelight tours, the orphanage, or mature tours. I can't recommend doing these more. They're a lot of fun, and you'll learn about the odd happenings around town that make Gettysburg so famous. We highly recommend doing one of the tours out of the Farnsworth House. Take a lot of pictures and keep an eye out. You never know what you might see.
The second honorable mention is to simply go on an auto tour. There are a ton of options to choose from, whether you want to download an app on your phone and drive solo, or take a guided tour with a group. Segways are another alternative, and you can spend literally a few hours or all weekend doing an auto tour around the battlefield. And I guarantee you'll leave Gettysburg learning something you didn't know afterwards.
Number 3 on our honorable mentions is a place self-admittedly I spent way too much money at over the years. Located at 26 York Street, Gallery 30 is a quirky shop just a few steps away from the main square. If you're looking for some unique decorations ranging from antique signs, candles, jewelry, and birdhouses, this is the place to check out while in town. And don't get me started on those gourds. Choose from thousands of their homemade painted gourds to decorate your house for every holiday. If you only have time to stop at one shop while in town, this is the one.
And finally, the last honorable mention before we get to the big top 10. It's one of the newest establishments in town and one that Sam and I always make a point to visit. It's none other than Fourscore Beer Company. Whether you want a quick, light beer before exploring the battlefield, or maybe you're a beer connoisseur and want a flight, ranging from sours to stouts and everything in between. Their food menu is just as delicious as their brews. Choose from fresh fries, wings, sandwiches, and salads. This is our favorite brewery in the area. They have some of the best sour beers you'll ever have. So be sure to try one while you're in town.
And here we are. If you've been waiting to see our top 10 places in Gettysburg, the wait is over. Coming in at number 10 is, drumroll please, the Longstreet Observation Tower. Head up the 100+ stairs to the top of the 70-foot tower within the heart of the battlefield. Once at the top, after you catch your breath, take in some incredible panoramic views of the battlefield below you. You'll be able to see various points of interest while perched atop this tower, such as Little Round Top, the Rose Farm, Big Round Top, and so much more. So make sure you pack your binoculars. Also, if you decide to do the auto tour that we mentioned earlier, this is one of the stops, so please keep that in mind. We highly recommend coming to the tower in the fall. The foliage from 70 foot up is amazing. Here's a few more shots of the tower before we move on to number 9.
Alrighty, coming in at number 9 on our list, this area saw some of the most violent fighting over all 3 days during the Battle of Gettysburg. Number 9 is none other than Cemetery Hill. This spot is worth stopping at, all while learning the history of the area and taking in the views, including the beautiful rolling hills in the distance, the monuments, and the cannons. I highly recommend walking from the main square down to Cemetery Hill. You'll see a lot of the battlefield as well as plenty of shops along the way. This is also one of my favorite places in the entire park to come for sunset. So whether you want to spend a few minutes here or a few hours, Cemetery Hill is definitely worth a stop. Here's a few more views of the hill before we move on to number 8.
Number 8 on our list is yet another area located within the battlefield. Dedicated back on July 3rd, 1938, the Eternal Light Peace Memorial has been burning ever since, commemorating the 1913 Gettysburg reunion for the 50th anniversary of the 1863 battle. It doesn't take long to walk around this memorial, but it is definitely a must-see while heading through the battlefield. If you've never been to the area, it gets quite overwhelming after seeing hundreds of different statues and memorials. Some tend to get forgotten, but we highly recommend heading to the Eternal Light Peace Memorial, located along Mammonsburg Road. If you get a chance, try to drive by at night to get a different perspective of the memorial. Here's a few more clips of the memorial before we head on to number 7.
And on to number 7. If you're getting bored at hearing about the memorials at Gettysburg, this is the last one in our top 10 and by far the most impressive in our opinion. As you might have guessed, the Pennsylvania State Memorial comes in at number 7. This shrine stands above the battlefield at 110 foot tall. It's the largest monument on the entire battlefield. The monument commemorates the nearly 35,000 Pennsylvania soldiers who fought in the Battle of Gettysburg. Completed back in 1914, it's by far the most impressive monument to see while exploring the battlefield. And after you're done admiring the beauty and craftsmanship of this monument, head up the granite steps to the top. Ascend the spiral staircase that leads to a breathtaking observation deck with amazing panoramic views of the battlefield below you. Also, be sure to check out the monument's 90 bronze plaques representing each Pennsylvania regiment, as well as the impressive statues that guard the monument to this day. Here's a few more views of the monument before we move along to number 6 on our list. And we will move onward onto spot number 6. Walk among the same pathways that Abraham Lincoln himself walked as he made his way to deliver the Gettysburg Address. Number 6 on our list is the most somber place within Gettysburg, Gettysburg National Cemetery. Take a walk through the cemetery and pay respect to the nearly 7,000 soldiers that gave up their lives for this country. See where Abraham Lincoln gave one of the most important speeches in this country's history and admire the impressive Soldiers National Monument at the center of the cemetery. Located at 1195 Baltimore Pike, we highly recommend taking a few moments within the cemetery to reflect on the price this battle had upon the country. Here's a few more views of the cemetery before we officially move on to the top 5.
Starting out the top 5, from one historic spot to another, we head to one of the oldest standing structures within the town limits, the Dobbin House. Built and established all the way back in 1776, long before anyone knew about the Battle of Gettysburg, Alexander Dobbin and his family called this building home. Fast forward to the Civil War, and the house served as a field hospital as well as a stop for the Underground Railroad. Nowadays, the Dobbin House hosts a bed and breakfast, gift shop, tavern, and restaurant. We highly recommend sitting at the original bar down in the basement. It truly feels like you stepped back in time. The Dobbin House is also one of our favorite places to get dinner while in town. Just make sure you make a reservation well in advance, as it does get very busy. Here are a few more views of our number 5 spot, the Dobbin House, before we move on to number 4. Need a break from town and want to take in some natural views all while walking across the covered bridge? Number 4 has you covered, literally. Sachs Bridge, built back in 1854, is a 100-foot long town truss covered bridge spanning the beautiful Marsh Creek as it meanders its way slowly through Adams County. During the Civil War, both Union and Confederate armies used the bridge during and after the battle. If the paranormal interests you, the bridge is reportedly known to be severely haunted due to the hundreds of paranormal encounters. The legend is 2 Confederate spies, or deserters, were hung on the bridge for all to see during the battle, and supposedly their spirits still remain to this day. In 1996, the bridge was restored due to flash flooding, and unfortunately, vehicular access is no longer allowed. Number 4 on our list, Sachs Bridge, is a spot we've been coming to for years, and we suggest taking the 15-minute drive out of town to explore the area. And we're off to the top 3. Any guesses to what they might be?
And here we are, the top 3 spots in Gettysburg that everyone should visit during their next trip. Number 3 is none other than the Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center. This is yet another location you could spend a few minutes in or all day. The state-of-the-art museum was opened back in 2008 and it hosts the most impressive collection of Gettysburg memorabilia you will ever see. From March until November, the Museum and Visitor Center is open daily from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Sam and I highly recommend purchasing tickets for the museum. As of recording this, tickets are $12.75 or $18.75 for a bundle that includes the cyclorama painting, a short film, as well as a visit to the museum. This museum really does have everything, from the bayonets to the flags to the cannons that were left behind. There is a display here for just about everyone. You can truly get lost and sucked into this museum. It took Sam and I around 2 hours to venture our way through all the displays, but I could see somebody literally spending all day there. Afterwards, if you developed an appetite, check out the saloon and cafe, conveniently located within the same building. And here's a few more of the displays before we officially move on to the top 2 spots within Gettysburg.
And here we are, our personal 2 favorite spots to visit in Gettysburg. Every time we visit, they are at the top of our list. Our number 2 spot is the Farnsworth House in Sweeney's Tavern. Built on the land of previously mentioned Alexander Dobbins, the Farnsworth House was claimed to be built back in 1810, years before the Battle of Gettysburg. Once known as the Sleepy Hollow Lodge, it's now known for its many spirits that call the inn home. The Sweeney Tavern, located within the same premises, is a must-see while in town. Get lunch and a cold beer in the Civil War era bar. Say hi to Elfie, one of the best bartenders you'll ever meet, and if you're interested in dinner, reserve a table to dine in at the main dining room within the house. The Farnsworth House was known to shelter various Confederate sharpshooters in the attic during the battle. Keep an eye out for the hundreds of bullet holes from the battle in the brick on the side of the building. Those Confederate sharpshooters are just one of many of the spirits known to roam the halls here. Up to 16 ghouls call this home nowadays, including Jeremy, a child that legend says was hit by a horse and carriage just outside the inn. So when your keys go missing, don't blame your spouse. The Farnsworth House is also a bed and breakfast. So if you're feeling extra brave, dare to stay the night here and try to see the attic or basement during your stay. Bill and I could go on and on about the Farnsworth House, but we are going to move on. So we are officially on to our number 1 pick. Any guesses on what it could be?
And here we are, our number 1 pick. If you only have time to visit Gettysburg for a few hours and can only visit one place, head to our number 1 pick, Devil's Den and Little Round Top. So unfortunately, while filming this, Little Round Top was under a bit of a reconstruction, but by the time this video airs, it should be open once again. We chose to put both as our number 1 since they are so close together. You can easily walk from one to another. If you're not familiar with Devil's Den, it's a huge boulder field, varying in size. You'll feel like a kid scrambling around these giant rocks. The area was known for some of the fiercest fighting during the battle, used both by artillery and sharpshooters. Devil's Den, however, didn't get its name until after the battle, and it's not what you think. Locals claim to see a large snake between 8 and 15 foot long living amongst the boulders, and soon those locals referred to him as the Devil, hence the name Devil's Den. And as for Little Round Top, it's the smaller brother of none other than Big Round Top. During the battle, it was the site of an unsuccessful assault by Confederate forces. Several monuments and memorials dot the hillside, all worth spending some time at. My personal favorite is the castle-like monument to the 12th and 44th New York Infantry Division. So that's it, our favorite areas within Gettysburg, the town we keep coming back to. Whether you're looking for some great dining, a ghost tour, or just want to learn more about the Civil War, Gettysburg really does have it all. We try to visit once a year and often get questioned, why Gettysburg? And my answer is usually, why not? It's one of the quaintest, quiet towns you'll ever venture to, and everything from the history to the surprising nightlife is worth a visit.
We hope this list helps someone out there planning a trip to Gettysburg. You definitely won't regret it. We could have easily made a top 20 list on the area because there is so much to see and do. Please leave us a comment and tell us your favorite place to visit in Gettysburg. We'd love to hear from you.
And that will wrap things up. I hope you all enjoyed our top 10 places to visit in Gettysburg. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button if you aren't already. Give the video a like and check out Maksim Outdoors on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, folks. See you next Friday for an all-new episode of Maksim Outdoors.